Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Disco Elysium. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're chose to join me today as I resort to forcing.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind?
I'm sort of forcing this guy. I've changed my mind about your friend, the lady driver. What? He looks up. But I told you she's my friend. I know. Put yourself in my shoes. I need this for another investigation too. It's important. I can't blow it. You're not gonna put a bullet in your head. You're not gonna put a bullet in your head if you blow it, are you? Because she's on the edge, man. Imagine it. An explosion, says our Elan Empire, of stars. Goodbye, world of men, money, and machines. Yeah, she's a suspect and I need you to tell me where she is, or I can't finish the investigation. I thought you were a different kind of cop. Yeah, so did I, but the dice just didn't roll that way. Something breaks in him as he stares into your eyes. Also, like, a different kind of cop. Yeah, let that be a lesson to you, sir, because I am still a cop. And, you know, I have my job to do. It's not like my feelings matter. Although they sort of did, because you spent like a day without your heart being broken, apparently. The realization that you've used his friendliness and goodwill for your own ends, says our empathy. Remember, you're doing it for the bigger investigation. This is important. Relax. Ask, says our volition. Yeah, where is the lady driver? Here. He takes a key ring from his pocket and then looks at it before giving it to you in silence. The keys to a motor lorry. Pretty complex. It looks like a chain lock. Then he gives them to you. Her lorry is still here, down past the statue of Philippe. He waves towards the monument. The cabin is green. You can get in there with these. That's all I know. When did she leave? Asks Kim. Last Friday. He blinks, his eyes half empty now. And why did you have the keys? She left them to me because she trusted me. So I can get it out of the way when the jam breaks loose. Otherwise, he doesn't finish the sentence. The other drivers would have to tow it or break in to get the machines moving, says Kim, and nods. If they break in, they would find what's hidden inside, says our logic. Something incriminating? Yeah. I'm sorry I had to do this. I bet you are, says Tommy. And he's sorry he couldn't be what he wants to be. A good person. That's what he thinks. Or of me, or his last line, his revenge on the world. Huh. I'm not really sure what empathy is doing here. If it's telling me what he's thinking, or if he's thinking of me or of him. I don't know who this he is. Let's go, Kim. He turns to the man before you leave. Thank you for your cooperation, sir. I know it's hard, but you did the right thing. You don't really think so. Tommy says. I really do, says Kim. If I didn't, I wouldn't be in the RCM. Take care, sir. Huh. Kim, the hopelessly hopeful. Let's get out of here. Let's go to the, I think we know which green. There we go. It's over here. We didn't know which one it was. I didn't. This green Fallen AZ Contemporain is parked in the shadow of the ruin looming overhead. It's seen better days. This is the one our men pointed. The lieutenant peeks inside. I'm gonna try to peek in. The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of a seat and two steering levers. It feels like you're peeking into someone's home residence. Inside, it's private, cozy, warm, dusty, too. Let's try the door handle first. The door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like it's recently replaced. There's no picking this lock. The owner has put special care into it. It's a recessed design. Okay, let's unlock the door with the key Tommy gave you. You push the key You push the key into the lock and turn. It makes a cracking sound, and then the door pops back a few centimeters. You can just open it. The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lower side of the seat where the toolbox should be. And that's a medium perception check, so that's probably what we're looking for. Let's admire the posters first. These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films, from the 20s and the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. I don't actually know what that means. I think it means what the word ingenious means. No, actually, ingenuous, that's the one. It means what the word ingenuous means in English, or something like that. But it's probably a colloquialism. It's probably a type of pinup, maybe. I mean, I would guess it's a type of pinup. I don't actually know if there's types of pinups. I assume there's types of pinups, but if you don't know what a pinup is, I tell you a pinup, and you don't know what that even means. Because it's just a weird, the word pinup is a weird... It could mean anything, really. But it means a specific type of photograph. Does it actually mean a specific type of photograph? Risque is the word that comes to mind, but that doesn't necessarily have to be a pinup. It can be... Risque can be anything. It could be even just... prose. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy with a hint of ambrette. Again, I have no idea. Wafting through the bitter air of the cabin. Stop and wonder, what's that smell? The remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume. I know what juniper is, though. It's what gin is made out of. And I've never seen a single plant of that, because that's not common in Europe. Probably Granat number 5. Of course. Let's study the centerfold here. The actress is draped in a sheath dress. I don't know what it is. One of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. She's looking past the camera. A feeling of tenderness washes over you. A longing, even, perhaps. And gentle tragedy. I don't think this means horniness in any way. Every time, or at least I don't... At least from the writing, when horniness is involved with our character, it usually uses the word sadness and loneliness. And here is tenderness and longing, which is different. Although not necessarily different. Sadness and tenderness can be very close to each other in our own feelings, I suppose, as humans. But it depends on how we interpret it, or what kind of sadness, surely, but how we feel about things in general. Yeah, I think this is a different type of feeling from before. Probably not representative of any evolution in our character, it just literally means different things. Let's, enough of the posters. The actresses and the rare actor... Yeah, there's no male version of the word actresses, it's just actor. But you can say actor of an actress as well, because actor can be neutral. I've seen it used in a neutral... No, it's not neutral. Neuter. Is it? Anyway, I've seen it used like that. Anyway, I'll smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter is attached to the dashboard, and a toolbox sits under the driver's seat. It looks like the frequency dial is absent from the radio. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver. Kim leans closer to the radio and hums. Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be 100 at least. It has to be an advanced model to fit so many frequencies next to each other without blending them together. Our interfacing says. Is there anything we can do with the radio? I'm gonna ask. It doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without the dial key, says Kim. Why would anyone need so many stations? For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example? He flicks a switch on the radio. This is all shortwave. UW and UKV. I don't actually know what those are. But I think this lady driver might be the boss, or might be a higher up in the union. And what we're doing here is breaking the strike. We're helping to break the strike. Which again connects to what I was saying before about, you know, cops' feelings not being involved in and whatnot. You know, it can be the best person in the world. It can be even the best cop in the world. You're still a cop. In the sense that, you know, you're going to need to do what the law tells you to do. Unless you don't. In which case, I suppose you'd be fired from being a cop, if not worse. You know what I mean? And, if we're being used here to pursue this drug case, because apparently drugs are prohibited in this setting, and the intention here is to somehow incriminate a leader of the union, or at least of the strike. Doesn't have to be the union, and that would mean breaking the strike, even if I wasn't directly involved in doing that. I wonder where that's gonna go. It looks like we're dealing with an impressive organizational tool, the nerve center of a huge operation, with quite the range too. A 20-kilometer radius at least, perhaps extended by an attachable antenna that's not here right now. I don't think you can have a 20-kilometer radius in a radio. Definitely, you can't. You see, there's a problem with the radius thing. The Earth is not flat, and radio is basically like light waves. So unless you have relays, which you can have, but then the range doesn't really matter because the relay is active. There's no such thing as a passive relay unless it's like a mirror or something. I don't know that those exist. But a relay would you know, relay the message that you communicate to it and just sort of boost the signal elsewhere. Those could exist, I suppose. But that's, you know, again, it doesn't mean the radius. I do know that, like, if you're, as a general rule, it's about 5 kilometers of range maximum that you can have from a visual standpoint. Everything else is just going to go beyond the curvature of the Earth. But if you have an antenna, you can extend that. I think it's like for every meter no, it's not a kilometer. It's for every meter high, it's 2.5 kilometers. So, for example, let's say this is two meters taller than us. It would be like 10 kilometers range. But then if you have an antenna that's another 2 meters, it would be 15 kilometers range. You know, that's why radio antennas are high, so you can extend and boost the range, of course, among other reasons. But because, you know, there's also interference from hills and other stuff. The Soviets had I don't actually remember where it was. I know they had a radar array that was called the Over-Horizon Radar Array or something like that. Of course, all in Russian, so it had a cooler name. Not only cooler sounding, but as well the actual initialism of the array. And it shows up in Stalker. If you've ever played Stalker, it's one of the buildings in there. It doesn't show up as a as a radar array, but it was called Over Horizon because it was so tall that it could detect over the horizon things, and it was indeed, like, I think 100 meters tall. Like, the whole radar was really, really tall. And so yeah, the Earth being round is a bit of a pain in the butt, but anyway, it doesn't matter. That's just a curiosity. What else is here? The ghostly actresses in rusty toolbox under the driver's seat, and the oddly bulging seat cover, I should say. Let's check the pedals. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. It seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, and a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one of Judgy, maybe she's perfectly organized, and just those tools maybe weren't hers, or that's the place where she keeps her tools. Anyway, but one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle. Sandpaper adds extra grip. I was gonna say, says our logic. Yeah, it looks like the driver has glued a piece of sandpaper to the throttle to offer some extra grip. However, What does that actually mean? I've never seen that in anything. Although trucks might have something to that extent. Cruise control is not a feature that trucks had until the 80s in real life, as far as I know. But they did have cruise control, and I know that working machines, like, well, not working machines, but like tractors and just sort of machines with, like, you know, the construction work machines, like, you know, the Caterpillar things. Caterpillar is the brand, you know what I mean, those things. They have a little thing, even old ones have a little thing that you can just accelerate to a certain point and just sort of get the accelerator pedal stuck on that position. And those are not meant for road work, or rather, those are not meant for when the tractor or whatever the machine is, when it's running, or like going along. It's meant for you to have extra power on the engine when you're operating machinery. Like, for example, like a trailer behind that you might need the engine to have a certain amount of power. And you just put that thing over there and gets it stuck, and the engine, instead of being you know, on tick over, is just going or a little bit stronger, you know what I mean? And that's a very old kind of thing. But the thing is, this sandpaper might be just because the accelerator pedal just you know, your foot just gets tired on long runs. I don't know if let me know if there's any truck drivers in the comments. I know there are, because there's one case where I got a comment from a truck driver explaining some things, not in this Let's Play, though. But, yeah, let me know if this is a real thing. It looks like the driver has... I'm gonna say, it looks like the driver has glued a piece of sandpaper to the throttle to offer some extra grip. Sandpaper, the lieutenant repeats. A novel technique. Yeah, specifically because the throttle pedal is the one that tends to not have the little grippy things. You know, if you have a car, if you drive a car, the throttle pedal tends to not to be the one that's smooth. The other ones have a little bit of extra grip because, you know, I suppose because the throttle is... I don't know why, actually. I assume it's because the throttle and the... Oh, sorry, because the brake pedal and the clutch pedal are very important, and you can't, like, slip off of them. So you just, you know, when you go for the brakes, you are applying a lot of force, or can be applying a lot of force, and so you don't want it to be sleepy. For the throttle, it doesn't matter as much, because, you know, if you don't accelerate as hard because your foot slips off the pedal, tough luck. And even in old, I have seen an old tractor that has the throttle being, like, completely away from the pedal assembly. That tractor that I'm thinking of actually has 4 pedals. 3 pedals. I don't know what the third pedal is, or the fourth pedal is. There's 2 pedals for the brake, one for the brake and one for the clutch, and there's another one to the left of the clutch that I think is meant for another clutch for the rear, but anyway. And then the throttle pedal is, like, by your side, so it's like if you're sitting on a chair upright and your feet are just dangling down. They're not to the front like you would be in a car. They're dangling down, and then that's where the throttle pedal is in the tractor that I'm thinking of. It's an old International, I think, is the brand. Sandpaper would also rub off the pattern from the driver's right boot. Oh no, that's so important. I'm rambling about things and I'm not even thinking about the case. This is why we found the thing with the sole. I'm gonna say the sandpaper would also rub the pattern off from the driver's right boot sole. Yes, Kim says. He likes where this is going. Do the honors, he thinks. Our esprit de corps says. Connect it yourself. Oh, thank you, Kim. You're a darling. One of the footprints at the crime scene had an aberration. We like using this word. It's a weird word to use. It's a really weird word to use, both just in English and Portuguese in my experience. Of course, this is... I'm saying Portuguese because that's my mother language, so it's doubly weird. But anyway, because there's a word for it similar to that one in Portuguese. One sole was smoother than the other, which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. The lieutenant's eyes light up behind his prescription lens. Also, I wonder if a drummer could, because this was the footprints that he thought were from a drummer, and I rambled about that. Because I ramble about everything. I wonder if I'm gonna ask my drummer about it. Nah, it's probably not a good idea actually. To put sandpaper on the drum pedal, on the bass pedal, whatever, whichever pedal it is. It's not a good idea because there's certain drumming techniques that require your foot to, well, a lot of them require your foot to move around in the pedal for extra speed. Like, for example, if you're doing triplets, you might not have the speed the normal speed to just pull the foot up and down and just be like in the single pedal. So you want to do a certain technique where you pivot off of your heel, and so the front of your foot is actually dancing around on the pedal and jabbing at it, basically. One of them is a jab, the other two are or it could be the other way around, but the first one is you pull at it down, then you jab at it, and then you pull at it down again. Step on it, I suppose, is the word. And so that way you can, with a single foot, do what normally a double bass pedal would be better for it, which is the tung with your right foot first, left foot second, and right foot third for the double bass pedal. Of course, there's better drummers than others, but the point is you might not want to have sandpaper on your drum pedal. Just saying. Anyway, Kim, did I read your thing? I think I did, which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. I did. The lieutenant's eyes light up behind his prescription lenses. Unless he has just a single prescription lens on one of the eyes, which is also possible. Wait, this is Ruby? It looks like her, yes. Oh, dang. I don't actually get how I don't get the connection here. I'm missing something for sure, because I focus on the wrong things, as you are very well aware of. But let's see if the game is gonna connect the dots for me, because I'm not really seeing it. And she's also the one running the drug trade. What a handful. This looks like proof. Kim says, this looks like proof the missing 8th person at the lynching was Ruby. You think that Hardy and his boys could be also involved in the drug operation? The second line over here, I think the entire union is involved, maybe even the entire Martinez. And I'm gonna look around suspiciously. Not necessarily. Ruby could have kept the drug trade a secret. You're right, says Kim. But we should still go and see what Titus has to say on the matter. He writes something down into his little notebook. Are we finished with the lorry? No, we're not, actually. The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. Ah, how nice of them. I am gonna pull the tool. Pull out the pull-out toolbox. This out should be after that, because pull the pull-out toolbox out. That doesn't sound as good though. But this is not incorrect, because a lot of people say it like this. This game definitely says it like this. But composite verbs need to have the object of the verb between the first part and the second part. That's why you say, shut the fuck up, and not shut up the fuck. Because, shut up the fuck is what pull out the pull-out box is here. But anyway, I'm gonna pull it out. See, I said pull it out. I could say pull out it, but no, because that's just weird. Anyway, a metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper. It's an issue of Périphérique, from last Wednesday. Last week, then. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Elan frequency system. The lieutenant leans in over your shoulder to examine the note. The Elan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know FM, AM, UKV, but his thought trails off. I really have no idea what UKV would be. I have no idea. I'm gonna push in the pull-out toolbox. I'm not... See, that's the reason why you wouldn't... You use the... You push the pull-out toolbox in. Because if you push in the pull-out toolbox, it's a different action. It's like swinging around your weapon or swinging your weapon around. Two different things. Anyway, peel off works the same. Peel the cover on the passenger seat off. Voila! Aren't you missing a little accent? Because you should, I think. Because you used it over here for the other one. Anyway, that's an English word as well, so I suppose it works the same. And the English word doesn't have the accent because it's Frenchism. A stack of neatly folded papers has been stashed behind the seating fabric. You see 3 maps depicting a large metropolitan area. It's Revachol. Some of its routes and highways have been outlined with a pen. Bonne prise, says Kim. The lieutenant commands you as you shift through the treasure, well worn and folded into neat squares. Now, I don't actually know what bonne prise means, because I think prise doesn't mean prize. I think that's one of the false friends words that doesn't mean what you think it is. I think it means luck? But bon means good. Specifically the feminine version of good, because if it were the masculine, it would be bon, with just a single N and no E at the end. Let's see, let's fold the topmost map open. This large, I suppose it would be unfolded open. This large map displays the elevated motorway called 881. The intake leading to Martinez is marked with a blue X. There's another X on the off-ramp at a place called the Old South. Toll booths at the intakes are marked with a circle. It looks like there are scant few ways to getting out or getting onto the elevated motorway that runs over Jamrock. And this person knows all of them, or knows them all. There, hundreds... Oh, this is our Shivers talking. There, hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881, high above the mass of brown and red roofs that is Jamrock. The commuters don't even look down. The world ceases to exist outside the windshield. Yeah, because otherwise you crash. Don't look down, please, to drive safely. Where does the road lead? To Coron. Through the middle-income neighborhoods there by the river, and then to Stella Marie and La Delta for work, while the men and women of Jamrock scuttle to their fates below the road. And the second map? This municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers underneath a sub-district called the Pox, old military hospital, right adjacent to the 41st district. No storm will ever drown Revachol, says our inland empire, the great solution to the riddle of history. I don't know what you mean, inland empire. What the heck are you talking about? That's a beautiful line, but I don't understand the meaning. There's a third map as well. The final map displays a labyrinth of service tunnels left over from the construction of Motorway 881. A few routes have been marked with a pen where the tunnels and sewers surface near the eminent domain and a traffic island in central Jamrock by the lake. These service tunnels were probably used during the construction of the foundation beneath the motorway. It looks like the smugglers have infiltrated the road network belonging to East Motor Tract. The smugglers have infiltrated the East Motor Tract, I'm gonna say. So it would seem, says Kim. The lieutenant examines the maps with a furrowed brow. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them. Where does the contraband end up? Hard to say. This distribution network looks certainly large, yet still vague enough. It doesn't reveal much about the Besmerti behind it. Besmerti? That sounds vaguely familiar. A Besmerti is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the inheritors of the 14 Revacholian Indo-tribes, but really they're just violent gangs vying for control on the west side of Revachol. With cool names, he adds with contempt, like La Puta Madre and Ajuda Mazda. It's a dark parody. This mixture of Spanish and French is all very weird to me. Anyway, we're out of time for today, so we're going to continue investigating this in the next episode. But for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Disco Elysium. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.